Hey everyone, Clio here, welcome to my channel, and today I will be doing the Booktube Newbie Tag. Now the Booktube Newbie Tag is intended to be like an introduction to the community. It's supposed to be more or less your first video. Of course I only found out about the Booktube Newbie Tag after having had this channel for about a month. But better late than never, so here I am giving you my version of the Booktube Newbie Tag. So I will be going through these questions, giving you my vision on why I started this channel and why I started reading and all of those. I don't think they're going to be so different from most booktubers because they're usually the same answers, but hey, you never know, let's just dive in. So the first question is, why did you start this booktube channel? And my answer will be the same as most booktubers, because I love reading. So I love reading and I love talking about the books that I read. I usually don't have anybody to talk about them anymore because I read different stuff than the friends that I know, and a lot of the friends that I know have started reading less and less. So this channel is a way for me to reach out to you fellow readers. Please help me, please talk about the books that I'm reading, and that way we can have this conversation about what do you like about it, what do you hate, why do you hate it, things like that. So the second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to the booktube community? Now I don't necessarily feel that you need to be super creative with this and come up with new types of videos all of the time. I feel like every booktuber is unique in their own way because we all have different reading styles. Sure, a lot of us might be reading fantasy, but the fantasy we like is always going to be different from the other person. And besides fantasy, the other genres that you're reading will also be different. So yeah, I have a different reading taste than a lot of other people. However, I also find booktubers that I feel like, with this person I could compare and contrast and we would probably have sort of the same opinion about most books. That being said, I do feel like there are some, I have some ideas rolling around in my head for future videos that I haven't yet come across in Booktube. They might be out there, I might just not have seen them yet, but so yeah, be on the lookout for them, and definitely let me know if there are some other people doing stuff like that already, because I definitely don't want to make it seem like, yay, I'm wonderfully creative and I've come up with a new form. Third question is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? And I think I already made that obvious, and that is the conversation with the people watching my videos. So sure, I'm looking forward to being able to talk about the books that I've read, but what I look forward to even more are getting comments from people about their experiences with this or that book, their recommendations for me for future readings, and things like that. I probably also feel like it would actually be most exciting to see contrasting opinions about books. It's interesting to see why people love a book that you've absolutely didn't like reading. It might actually also steer your opinion about a book. You might have not even thought about certain elements in the books being problematic, for example. So the fourth question, in a way it's the easiest question, in a way it's the most difficult one, and that is, why do you love reading? I started reading relatively late, you know. Reading was introduced to me in school as something like you had to be faster than. I was not a fast reader, so we had these tests at like how fast can you read things, and I would always be like not even at the bottom or something. I would be just like mediocre, and I was a very competitive child. Still I'm quite competitive, but so yeah, for me it got like this negative vibe of it being associated with how fast you could do it, how good can you read, versus the pleasure and the enjoyment of reading. And so as a child I didn't really read so much. I mean, my sister was more like the big reader when I was a child, and then that all changed around when I was 10, 11, and I discovered a couple of books that really got me into reading, and the genre that got me into reading was fantasy. So I assume that what got me into reading was the escapism, was being able to explore different regions, different histories, just getting away from your day-to-day life and completely being immersed into a book. And definitely the first years of my reading are mostly fantasy books, mostly being carried away into a different world. However, in looking back on my reading life, one of the things that I love most about the fact that I've read so many books is that so many of these books have shaped the person I am. They've shaped my values, the way I interact with other people. They've defined my character, and in that sense I mostly mean the best parts about my character. So yeah, that's also something that I very much love about reading. I love how reading expands your horizons and makes you it brings you in contact with different perspectives, and that way I feel like it increases your empathy. You're more likely to be able to put yourself in the mindset of another person because you constantly do it when you're reading. So yeah, I love reading for the escapism. I love being carried away, but I also feel it's very important for me in any case, because it broadens my horizons. So the fifth question, the one I didn't want to expand upon in my previous answer, is what book or series got you into reading? So there are 3 candidates for this, because the timing of these 3 books is very unclear to me, but there's one that I always consider to be like the major player there, the one that really got me going. So I've already made a video about the books that shaped me as a reader, and all 3 of these are mentioned in that video. I will also show them briefly, but if you want me to expand more upon the reasons for all 3 of them, just go and watch that video. I will only talk about one now. So the 3 books that got me started were Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Read this when I was 10 or 11. Koning van Katoren, which is the Dutch translation, but no, which is the Dutch title, it's not a translation, by Jan Terlouw. And De Brief voor de Koning, also Dutch, by Tonke Drachts. Now the one that I will be talking about is not Harry Potter, but The Koning van Katoren by Jan Terlouw. I think it has an English translation which is called To Become a King or something like that. It was for me actually required reading, and this is really the best required reading I've ever had. I've had another required reading that I also mentioned in the video, The Books That Shaped Me, but this one is the one that started it all for me. So it is a fantasy read as well. It is definitely more middle grade than Harry Potter is. Harry Potter, the first 2 were also like very much middle grade possibly, but I feel like Harry Potter does evolve a lot more over time, and it addresses more serious themes from the beginning. This is very much more like innocent children's literature, but yeah, I was a child at the time, so I was a perfect audience for it. So in it we follow this boy called Stash, who, for some reason or other, which I don't remember, he is vying to be the next king of the kingdom in this book. And for this, he has to request the ministers to support his bid, and they give him, I think, 12 assignments, not entirely sure on the amounts, but so he gets these different tests that he needs to fulfill, and in order for him to become the king. And so yeah, these tests are things like defeating a three-headed monster, or there's this town in which the churches are always moving around, and then people have to hurry out of the way and things like that. And so this is the first book that really introduced me to this magical world of possibilities, you know, the inventiveness of stories. So yeah, it will always have a special place in my heart. I'm keeping myself from rereading it just because I feel like it'll be a disappointment if I reread it. I mean, I'm not entirely sure whether I reread it and it was a disappointment, or whether I'm just keeping myself from rereading it. But yeah, I'm sure it's very childlike, and if I revisit it now, it will in part be nostalgic, but in part I'll also not have that magical feeling that I had when I read this when I was a child. So I'm keeping myself away from it. Question 7 is, what question would you ask your favorite booktuber? Now, I follow a number of booktubers, but I'm also still relatively new to Booktube. I discovered Booktube in around August or something like that, and then I was away for 3 weeks in September, so I've really just seen like a month and a half of Booktube, so I've definitely not discovered everybody out there yet. I don't really have a favorite Booktuber. I have a Booktuber I feel like has a taste very similar to mine, and it's Emily from Books with Emily Fox. But I also very much love a lot of other channels like Yasmina Irina, Peru's Project, Books with Lala, Sam's Nonsense, and I'm probably forgetting 20,000 others. So if I didn't mention you, give me a comment and I'll check out your channel if I haven't, but otherwise I basically love most of the booktubers that I see out there, so it's just great to see people being excited about books and being passionate about them, even when they're talking about books that have a totally different subject matter or genre than the ones that I normally gravitate towards. Questions that I would ask them, I guess, how did you get your following? I mean, I'm very new, and so I'm already happy that I have 2 subscribers. If you're watching, thanks. But yeah, tips on how to gain more following would be welcome. I recently watched the live show of the Bookmark team, which is a collaboration of Read by Zoe, Haley in Booklands, and A Clockwork Reader, and they already gave some interesting tips, but any others would definitely be welcome. How do you read so much? I'm currently at like 35 books a year, and I hope to be gaining more traction. I mean, I've been getting a lot of reading in the time since I started Booktube, so I'm thinking that I could maybe go for the average of 4 books a month, which would be a lot for me. But I really don't see how these people are getting so many books. I mean, part of it will probably be that they are much faster readers than I am. I'm a very average paced reader, but maybe there's some magical trick that I'm just not getting. I mean, I'm sure there are a million questions to ask, I'm just not coming up with them at the moment, but yeah. But yeah, I'm sticking to those 2, okay? So any tips you have on gaining followers, and any tips on finding more time to read. And then the final challenge, and then the final question is, what challenges do you think will be hardest to overcome with this Booktube channel? And for me, I guess the biggest challenge for me is always sticking to something. I'm very much a person who can jump in with great passion and energy and be very excited about something from in the beginning, but then as time goes by, it might my attention might drift to other projects, and thus forgetting about projects I already have going. So I have started a blog, for example, on multiple occasions, and I still have one going up, but I mean, my posts are so disparate that honestly I'm just, yeah, it's just embarrassing for myself, basically. I mean, I have a lot of problems with procrastination, which also don't factor in very well with something like a blog or a YouTube channel, but I mean, I'm doing pretty good, I feel. I mean, I have a fixed schedule, so my videos need to go up on every Thursday evening, and then, well, in my time zone at least, Thursday evening, and then I'm shooting them always on like a Saturday or a Sunday, and I try to shoot multiple videos over the weekend so that I have some videos that are available for me in case it would ever happen that in a certain weekend I don't have anything available. So I definitely had to do that before leaving on my 3-week trip to the US, because I needed to get 3 videos out there. I did miss one deadline because as I said, I'm a procrastinator, so I edit my videos pretty late, and so the evening before my video had to go up, I was editing my video, and then I figured out that for like 20 minutes or something, it turned out that I'd been talking to my camera, but my camera had not been filming, so I missed like 3 books in my September wrap-up, so yeah. I hope this is something that happens to the best of them, but I'm honestly not quite sure. But in any case, sticking to it will definitely be a challenge for me. However, at the moment, I don't have any problems with it yet, so I'm doing very good with filming every weekend and getting my at least one post out every week. I'm not sure whether I will be able to up the ante there, whether at some point I might go to 2 posts a week or just 1 post a week and an occasional extra one. I do have some ideas out there for videos that I could post in the future, so maybe I can do it, but at the moment I'm sticking to the 1 video a week just to see if I can manage this, and then maybe in a couple of months I'll revisit and see, okay, could I upload more often or not. So that was it for my introduction to the Booktube community. I hope you've enjoyed my introduction, that you might check out some of my other videos. You will see that I have a different setup for this video than for my other videos, and I'm actually quite liking it, so maybe I'll make it a permanent one. But so yeah, as you can see, my sofa is right in front of my bookcase, so that kind of limits me in terms of where I shoot if I want to have my bookcases in there. But I'm quite liking this one, so I'll probably try a couple of videos like this. But if you've seen several videos, please let me know what you feel is the best setup for it. I'm liking it so far. I think it also helps with, I have a lot of nervous energy while I'm talking, and this way at least it's just my hands that are uncontrollable and not the rest of my body. So yeah, see you next time.